what is going on, YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here, and here I am. It's been a while bringing you guys live commentary regarding a match, but I do feel like this is important because, well, the deck I'm playing. So, trying times, again, we know local stores make most of their money from tournaments and stuff to pay their overhead, They do depend on a lot of us, not just Yu-Gi-Oh players, but Magic players, Pokemon players, and all that. So, we decided to do some unsanctioned tournaments, meaning, don't enter stuff in the Konami database and stuff, and you should be fine. Now, we didn't exceed the player cap. There's 2 people, of course, still running the store, and 8 players for a tournament. There were more people that did want to come, but, we kind of hit the limit, so, still wanted to be safe and all that stuff and not get seriously fined or something. So anyway, before we continue, while we're still waiting on who's going to go first, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen and you're going to see something pretty cool here. This is a shirt that a friend of mine has been designing. Now it's for me and a couple other folks in our circle, but at the same time it also gives me a good idea what direction I want to take regarding some merch and stuff. So, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think this looks cool and whatnot? Will this be something you would wear? You can look closely. It's got Rogue with Spice, above the Firewall Dragon. You kind of can't see it, so I have to say it out. And, J Money is kind of up to the upper left-hand corner, whatever. But anyway, enough of that. We went first, and we're starting. As you can see, we're playing plants today. I haven't showcased plants in over a year, and that's because ban lists continue to hit this deck. And so I made the conscious decision when we get to Overload, I am playing this deck. I'm showcasing this deck, regardless if I do good or bad, because I love plants, and this will probably be one of the only times plants would be, truly playable, before the next ban list. We don't know when we're getting it. We don't know if we're going to get it in a timely fashion because there's no events. I really hope Konami does decide to wait, because the best thing Konami can do, is wait. Wait till we get events. Wait till we see results. Wait till we get the results we need to see what is truly a problem and just all hype. Again, I don't believe in the Apex Avion Infinite Loop combo because it's too easy to get over. It's too easy to break, even when the board is established. I think I've gone over it many times. I don't believe in it because just the everyday cards we play just make it that much weaker and that much more vulnerable. Again, it's vulnerable in a few key pivot points. Again, it's vulnerable at the part to where after it does successfully to get a card in the window where Thunderbird's trying to summon itself, it's vulnerable in its own effect to attempt to bounce Thunderbird on resolution, because it's once per chain. So, just basically just any kind of quick effect can break that lock. So, I don't believe in it. So, as you can see, we got a Super Soul and Nutrient on the board, and for what that does, you need to tribute a level 1 level 2 or lower plant monster, and you can summon a plant monster from your deck with up to 3 additional levels from the monster you tributed. So if I tributed a level 2 plant monster, I can summon a level 5. Or a level 1, I can summon up to a level 4, but of course I summon a level 3, which would be a Prentaplant Orpheus Scorpio. And we went into our Jasmine now. Opening Evil Thorn is kind of it's kind of weird because you really want to summon it from the deck later on in your combos or whatever, but it's fine at the end of the day. So I don't even think we end on anything big, but I do want to showcase some of the capabilities that plants have with dual overload and all that good stuff. So I think you'll end up seeing that now. So we link. I don't even think we activated our instant fusion yet, so if I didn't, then yep, there's Cross Sheep. So, here we go. Now we're going to go and use our instant fusion, and we're going to bring out a monster that I don't think you guys have ever seen in a good while. Sea Monster Theseus. Yes, guys, that's right. It's a tuner monster for Needle Fiber. It's a tuner monster. It's, again, you just summon it via instant fusion. and all that stuff. So basically, getting to Neofiber is very searchable because Pride Plant over Scorpio is, it's over Scorpio. But I wouldn't even be playing Instant Fusion in this deck had Brilliant Fusion had stayed in the game. I don't know if I said this, but just, man, guys, playing plants, trying to pilot plants without Brilliant Fusion is so difficult. It's so hard. There's no combo string. Like, literally the plays and all these replays, or not replays, but all these matches I'm about to show you, they literally are just 100% dependent on what's in my hand. And at least I can consistently pull stuff off, but I don't know exactly what all I can pull off with just one card. It literally depends on what else is in hand, how far you can go, what kind of setup you can make, and stuff like that. So, like, in that way, it's pretty inconsistent because, it's lack of a pure combo string, and so this is all just, like, all art, a lot of these combos are just RNG based off the hand. And so, let's continue. We made Artifact Agda. We banished for sports. We can have a second monster to make Needle Fiber. Use our effect of our beautiful Needle Fiber to summon a monster that you don't think you wouldn't expect us to summon. But we used Agda's effect in response because of an effect on the field that's been activated. We're going to set Scythe. Spoiler alert, we play 2 Scythes in our deck for a very good reason. It's involving Needle Fiber and Dagda. Their little synergy. They synergize extremely well together. So with Needle Fiber, we summon Naturia Rose Whip. Now this card restricts the opponent to 1 spell and trap per turn. So a lot of times people don't read it. Now this is my round 2 opponent. I have round 2 recorded as well, but I figured I'd do this one first because it kind of shows it can play through interruptions and stuff. In my match 3, I did play through 2 interruptions as well, but I lost that one because of a very, very rookie mistake. Activating a card under a zone that Imperm was previously in. We've all done it. It sucks. I think I would have won the match otherwise, because this was game 3. Playing through double Imperm was nice, and knowing that you were still going to make a board was felt pretty good. So, that shows Plants has some resilience. So, we're just passing turn right here. Now, we'll go ahead and say that we did lose game 1. And this shows a very, very crucial part. Very, very crucial. This kind of reveals a hole, a specific hole in the strategy. First off, there are already holes in the strategy by allowing my opponent to resolve even 1 spell or trap. Like, period. That's already, a problem. Because if I don't have, like, a legitimate negate to stop, like, a Cosmic Cyclone from targeting the set Scythe, yeah, I can tag out for one Magician, but that won't even activate until the next, chain, which by that point is too late. But as you can see here, because I don't have a negate, my opponent did have a Called by the Grave for the Scythe, which was very, very, very unfortunate. Yeah, that's a hole that I'm going to look at covering up later. It's a hole that in the strategy that definitely needs to be looked at. But yeah, Mekk 9 Invoked, man. So here we are. We're playing into. We don't even play around zones anymore because we no longer respect Mekk Knights anymore because, we don't see them played like that. So, ooh, man. Let's see how this rolls out. I don't even remember how this rolls out, but I think he does get blue and summons it right there because there's 2 zones. And he gets his double search. Oh, man, must be nice. And I think from here he makes his Alistair link. And I think he's trying to fuse at this point. And I think when he gets to that point, I remind him, friendly reminder, that he kind of can't do it because Naturia Rose Whip restricts you to 1 spell trap per turn. And you played Called by the Grave. So, yep. That's how that works. So basically you just need to run it over. And I guess you're good to go. But yeah, Naturia Rose Whip, level 3 plant tuner. for the next couple weeks, you're gonna see a lot of different just monsters that you wouldn't expect me to summon with needle fibers. So, everybody's on the same 3 tuners, like Spore, or not Spore, but Glow Up Bulb, Jet Synchron, and Steam the Cloak. But there's so many other tuners out there that do so many other really, really neat interactions, depending on the deck you're playing, that just, the possibilities are just out there, man. The possibilities are really there. And, that's one thing I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Just, you just branch out a little bit and you'll find some things. I've done that. I've found some things, and I think I got a small surprise for you guys a little bit later, I guess, in the next video and all that stuff. So yeah, go ahead and honestly, I shouldn't even be uploading this video until after the next one, because the next video will be just all kinds of different decks and just needle fiber combos in general, and what all needle fiber can do for all kinds of different decks. Because needle fiber, it boosts every deck. It helps any and every deck, no matter how you slice it. Even a simple, straightforward deck like muskets can take advantage of needle fiber, because needle fiber doesn't just suit offensive decks, it suits defensive decks as well, because as you can see, TG Wonder Magician is a defensive card. Needle fiber can tag out in other things like Formula Synchron or Desert Locust. The monster you summon with needle fiber, you can summon things like Naturia Whip or Rose Whip if you have a way to protect it from like battle and stuff. That's a really strong monster you can summon with needle fiber, and be on the defensive if you're playing more of a control stun based strategy. You can also summon something like Ghost Ogre, because the monster that you summon with needle fiber can't activate its effects that turn. So on the next turn, when it's your opponent's turn, that Ghost Ogre can use its effect while on field. I'm pretty sure a lot have forgot about that, but yeah, on the next turn when your opponent's playing, Ghost Ogre is now alive. It's online, so you have that paired with needle fiber. You can have 2 disruptions there, especially if you have key pivotal spells and traps that need to resolve, or that get set or something. And then on top of that, if you are playing a deck like Muskets, and let's say you've used your Starfire and you use the cast bar effect to search, you have a free level 3 on the board, you could just sync that off with a Wonder Magician and go into a level 8, like the Draco Master of the Tenyi, the Tenyi Synchro, in case you actually don't have a link in your grave for something like Porload Savage Dragon. So right at this point, I think, is where we decide to concede defeat. Because, well, there's no point. We don't have too many cards in our hand, and our opponent's clearing our board, and I'm pretty sure he's keeping Makaba on field. So, I think, yep, we go ahead and put up. So, I will be right back with you guys until we get to the next one. Alright, guys, here we have it, game number 2. And we're going to get this bad boy underway. I do think I'm going first again. I'm not at all sure. But I'm not even sure if we put up the greatest board that we possibly could. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we might pass. I'm not even sure. I need to... yes, we opened really bad. We opened extremely bad because we opened Darling Cobra. So... guys, the thing about plants is there's some bricks in there, but there's one certain brick that's just a very, very fatal brick. I'm talking about, if you draw this brick, your deck is almost never online, because a lot of decks can focus around one central point, meaning at some point, even if you don't open Lone Fire, even if you don't open Planet Plant Scorpio, the game plan is still to get to Planet Plant Scorpio. So things like Evil Thorns to get to Jasmine a lot faster with an extender to summon it, or with things like Super Solar Nutrient to get to Lone Fire Blossom. Just at some point you need to get to and resolve Planet Plant Scorpio to get that instant fusion. Like, it's so important. I mean, it was even more important when we had Brilliant Fusion, because you really wanted to put the Gem Knight Lapis in the graveyard, for later use when it came to things like supervise to summon multiple power tool dragons and do your thing. For those of you that remember a year ago, but alright, so we sent Rose Lover to the graveyard. This deck isn't complete because I ordered 2 more Rose Lovers because Rose Lover is really, really good. It's not once per turn, and it's something I want to Foolish Burial more often. I wish I would want to open it. I want to discard it with like a spell effect or something. I want to play cards like Performer Pauper up so I can trade in dead cards to get good cards to hand and all that stuff. But as you can see here, we're doing foolish things by banishing Rose Lover and summoning Darling Cobra to the field because we need to put 2 bodies on field for our Crystron Needle Fiber. If that is what I'm going for, I'm not sure if I'm going for the Needle Fiber. Yeah, we're going for Needle Fiber. So with the Needle Fiber, we're going to summon a token with Jet Synchron, and then we're going to go ahead and he's going to Ash our Needle Fiber. So that leaves us with only one option left, and that is tributing our Steam token for Steam the Cloak itself, and then making this a Mork link to have another negate. So I had extra space for something like this because it just gives me another option. You know what I mean? So especially if I draw one of my 2 artifact sites. Again, I will explain exactly why we play 2 sites come game 3. You know, because I love this interaction and it gives us a good follow-up and stuff like that, and just, you know, deck thins, and it's just nice. It actually can, you know, I would have been able to show you this game 1 had he not had the Call by the Grave, but, you know, hey, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Disruptions happen. So here we go. I think he's just reading. So we used our once per duel effect on Steam the Cloak already, so pretty unfortunate there. So we go and summon our Avion from the deck. Now, keep in mind, the Simorgling can use this effect each end phase, so in this situation, if I negate a card and he fails to kill the Simorgling, I can use the effect on his end phase as well and summon Avion from hand or deck. You know, so it's a constant recurring negate, if anything else. But the fact remains is I don't have anything else to support it. And I did draw the Dragon Buster Sword, which is another card I do play in this deck. You know, because we also play Union Carrier. So we have, like, the whole reason we're playing all of this is because, again, we don't have a true combo string. So, you know, basically everything is completely dependent on what we have in hand, and so that's why we integrated like a few win conditions based on what our hand is looking like. So luckily the bricks aren't that bad, even if you draw them. You know, things like Steam the Cloak can be summoned from the hand with Needle Fiber. Even if that wasn't the case, you could just discard it with like a Predaplant or something, or with the DDR and just, you know, summon it back, you know, things like that. If you open the Buster Sword, you can equip it from hand with Union Carrier. Again, if you just open Avion, you can summon it with the Simorgling Link. So, you know, even all those quote-unquote bricks that you don't want to draw, they're still playable. They're still playable outside of Darling Cobra, which is very unfortunate. You know, I really wish the Darling Cobra had got its effect when it was just special summoned in general, or special summoned by a plant monster effect, instead of just specifically a Predaplant, because, you know, that, you know, earlier this turn where I had sent Rose Lover to the graveyard and banished and special Cobra, adding Instant Fusion would have been perfect. It would have been great. But can't have it both ways, I guess. So he goes into his window and all that stuff. So at this point, I'm very, very convinced that he doesn't have a way to get over the Smorg Link, and I still have a special summon. So he's using Aerial. He's just going to banish my graveyard. Not very good in this situation, because I used most, if not all, of my effects that are once per duel and all that stuff. So, you know, I go and just, I mean, I can't really do anything about it, but it doesn't really matter too much, because Fortunately, Spore and Glow Bulb and Steam the Cloak are all once per duels. We don't like once per duel effects. We hate those. I'd rather a hard once per turn than a once per duel effect, because I don't know. 5Ds was a very, very strange era for a lot of us. Once per duel, just, I don't know. Effects were not that strong, you know what I mean? You know, how could something like Spore be once per duel when you have, like, I mean, then again, cards weren't as strong as back then as they are now, regarding having multiple effects, effect on field, effect in grave, and all that. So yeah, so as you can see on his end phase, I summoned Avion, I drew, and I just battle phase, and I just swung. So you know, there we go. And we're going to set a card, and we're going to pass. I think it's called by, but yeah, I'm not all that sure. But here we go. He sets a card, and I draw for turn, and we go ahead and win that game. Right there, because we attacked over his window with Avion, which was another 500, and Avion directly with 2400, which was 2900 damage total. And then the following turn was another 24 direct with a 2700 direct, so that is 8000 damage perfectly. For those of you who are not aware, a combination of like two 2800s plus a 2400 is 8000 exact. So 2 darkness metals plus, I don't know, a red eyes black dragon is perfect game. And you know, first damage is 29 and 27. You know, you average them out to you average out 2800, and you know, some more Glink is 2400 automatic. So you know, big math, right? Not really big math. It's pretty simple math, but regardless, it's over. So here we go. We're gonna go to game 3, guys, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, game 3 is on the way. So our opponent goes first, and he sets 2 cards, and spoiler alert, they're both interruptions. So now we're gonna see exactly how we're gonna play around this bad boy. So here we go. We go and throw Spoiler upon Scorpio out there because it is a normal summon, and as you can see, the screen's kind of frozen here, but it's going to unfreeze in just a second. But what he's reaching for is an infinite impermanence, and you'll see it in the graveyard once this unfreezes and all that. And what you don't see is you're not going to see me play Foolish Burial not in response, but just afterwards, and dumping Rose Lover to the graveyard, and then banishing Rose Lover to summon an Evil Thorn from the hand. So when the video unfreezes, that's what you're going to see. Oh, well, you see the Foolish Burial, but you didn't see the Rose Lover. So we banish the Rose Lover, and we summon Evil Thorn, and we're going in, and we're summoning 2 plant monsters. Got to make sure one is going to be in a zone that Jasmine's pointing to if I'm ever going to resolve it. But as you can see, the infinite impermanence is, in fact, at the graveyard, so he did successfully stop my Scorpio. But hey, that doesn't matter too much when we're playing plants, guys. Am I right? So plants are very special. I love plants. Just there's something about plants as a type that just, I don't know, that just is so fun to play. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what the heck's gonna come out of just a plant-based deck. You know, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know. They can be very vulnerable, but they can also be very resilient at the same time. Again, it just completely depends on your hand. I kind of hate that, but here we go. Ultra rare Gigaplant coming right out. Let's go. So, we got our Supervisor hand. Gigaplant is not as important as it used to be. It's don't get me wrong. It's still very, very, very important. But the problem is no Brilliant Fusion. No Brilliant Fusion, no Seraphonite, no extra normal summon for free. So basically, if you're going to summon Gigaplant, you also need another extender from there, and you still need to be able to make Power Tool Dragon. So I've been thinking about maybe teching in some copies of Destrudo because Power Tool is a level 7 Synchro. I think I'm going to have to end up giving that a try at some point. Plus, Destrudo is an extender at the end of the day, so if I don't want to tribute one of these plant monsters and I still need to resolve Jasmine, I can use the Shrudo as just my guinea pig or whatever. So we summoned Spore after we resolved Gigaplant, and Gigaplant came back by the effect of Supervise. For those of you who don't remember, you equip it to a Gemini and it's treated as an effect monster. Also, if the Supervise ends up going to the graveyard, you can target a normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So, Geminis, for those of you who are not really too familiar with how Geminis work, you have to do a second normal summon to get their effects online, which is like really bad. But yeah, so they're also treated as normal monsters, basically anywhere except the deck. They're treated as normal monsters on the field and in the graveyard, as long as you didn't get a second normal summon. But Supervise kind of turns their effects online, and then it just reborns it because it's vanilla when it hits the grave. And I got another Supervise. So had the other card I had revealed with Power Tool was Symbol of Heritage. So you need 3 monsters with the same name, and one of them needs to be targeted to special summon. So I had 3 Lone Fire Blossoms in there for that very reason. No need to reveal any like DUDRs or anything yet. So I do want space for a second Power Tool, but no space, not really. It's not really just the first one seldomly comes up, so the second one is just like, ooh, you know, again, without Brilliant Fusion, this is way more difficult than what it needs to be. So I'm trying to think of what's the best plan of action here. I'm thinking about either summoning Glow Bulb or like Rose Lover. I think no, that was game. No, I think that was game 1, where I go for Rose Lover instead of Glow Bulb. You know, and I went for like Nat Beast and the whole Needle Fiber combo and all that. So I go Saryuja for 4 because, as you can see, there's 1 card in hand, and it's DDR. And I'm just trying to draw just so I can have an extra card in hand to discard for DDR. I go for Saryuja, and he imperms he lost wins the Saryuja, and I'm just like, man, you waited this long for lost win, but man, I committed so many resources into that, it almost, it was almost there. He almost, stopped me completely, but luckily we have things like Spore and Glow Bulb already in the graveyard, so, we're good to go there. I didn't think did he anticipate me making a Saryuja the whole time? I'm not sure. But, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What would you, especially those who don't have too much experience playing decks like Plants, what would you have really waited? What would you wait for? What do you think I'm playing? What do you think Lost Wind would, what would you, it's like, what, he was clearly waiting for something, so, what is it you think that I have that you would wait for to, just hold that Lost Wind for so long? Let me know down in the comments, guys. I am very, very curious. So, as you can see, you're looking at a very familiar line of play. We go Needle Fiber, and we're using our Dagda in response because it has to chain to something. And we summon Steam the Cloak this time. So, I don't think we... Oh, wow, we didn't even do the whole deal. So, I guess you won't even be able to see why we play a second Scythe. So, we go into our Samorglink, we summon our token, and I think that is, in fact, a set card. I think it's called by the Grave, and we go in phase, Samorglink, summon our Avion. So, oh yeah, the set card's Scythe. Duh. Jesus. So, here we go. Our opponent is drawing. So now, we actually have some kind of legitimate protection for the Samorglink in case he does have ways to try and run it over. And all that, so, he gets his Lost Wind back, unfortunately, but, so that means we do have to at least waste a negate on something, but, hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Gotta make sure you can resolve your cards, because if you're not resolving your cards, you're not winning. So, here we go. He's picking up, he's assessing the situation, he's reading everything, making sure he knows exactly what's going on. All my interruptions, all that. So, Anyway, let's see. Needle fiber. He's still reading Avion, isn't he? I'm surprised at this point. You know, somebody does have to read Avion, but hey, people do need to understand, you know, points of activations, if things are cost, and all that, because Avion is, in fact, one of those cards to where if you don't read it correctly, you could get cheated. You know, your opponent can cheat you very easily if you don't read it correctly. So I don't blame him. So he uses it right away. So I'm just like, okay, let's negate that. So in resolution to that, we go ahead and use our needle fiber, and you know, we go ahead and banish, and we summon our TG Wonder Magician. You know, so fingers crossed, guys. Does he have Called by the Grave again? You know, we go ahead and use Wonder Magician, blow up our set card, and you know, just trying to understand what's going on. Even though I did this game one, but you know, people can't remember everything, especially when you have 10,000 things going on between two games. So don't hold it against them. So, but even then, so people should know what Wonder Magician does at this point in time, because you know, Needle Fiber has been a card for, you know, multiple years. But so we pop our Scythe, and Scythe is going to get its effect to summon out a let's see, yeah, it's going to summon itself. It's going to summon himself, and it is going to successfully come out this time. So you know, that's good. So we got our effect going off. So anyway, what I would originally want to do, instead of going this Morgling, if I had kept Dagda on the field, I would have used Scythe's effect. Obviously, it's Chain Link 1. Dagda's effect as Chain Link 2 would activate as an effect on field, just got activated. And then as Chain Link 3, we would use TG Wonder Magician, and we would sync into something cool. We would go into an Ultimate Zolkin, right? And then we would, after we resolve Wonder Magician, Dagda will resolve, setting another artifact card, which triggers Ultimate's effect, summoning a Crystal Wing from the extra deck. You know, putting another negate-ish kind of card on the board, which is nice. So he is extra locked, so you know, we're now he's just gonna swing at the token, and you know, before he ends his turn, we're going to use our Wonder Magician effect and go into our Ultimate Zolkin, and we're going to go in face of Morg and summon an Apex Avion to the field. You know, things are looking pretty good right now, wouldn't you say? So anyway, I set a card and resolve Ultimate's effect to summon a Crystal Wing from our extra deck. Now keep in mind, the whole reason I went into Star Usual last turn was to have an extra card in hand to resolve DDR. Luckily, a draw for turn kind of fulfills that requirement, so I don't really have to do all that much anymore. So here we go. We summon our Banish Stonefire Blossom. Normally, you're always going to Banish Stonefire Blossom for Spore, because you do play 3 DDRs, Power Tool Dragon, again. Not to mention, DDR isn't even a brick if you open it, because if you have like any kind of combo, you're likely going to have Spore and 3 Lone Fire Blossoms in your graveyard. So we summon our nice Titanial Princess of Camellias. It's a nice card to end on. If you like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, if you have so many extenders and so many Lone Fire Blossom or Giga Plant effects, like, you can just end on a Titanial alongside with the rest of your board and just protect it from like targeting and stuff. And it's also 28 beat 6, so here what you're seeing is we tribute the Morgling for Steam the Cloak out of the graveyard, since we didn't use it yet. And we're going to link Ultimaya, our Dark Ultimaya, and our Dark Steam the Cloak into a Union carrier, since it takes 2 monsters of the same type or attribute. And you know, from there, we're going to target our Crystal Wing, Synchro Dragon, for Union Carrier's effect to equip a card that I think you saw game 2, which was the Buster Destruction Sword. Dragon Buster Destruction Swordsman, or whatever that card is called. Crystal Wing's a dragon, Destruction Sword's a dragon, so my opponent can't go into their extra deck. He sets 3, so I'm just being cautious, just in case. I'm just like, okay, there is a possibility that we have multiple turns. So at this point, it's game over. because, you know, Titanials hits over for 1800. You know, that's 2700. That's 4000. And just the Union Carrier, you know, does enough damage for game. So, you know, that is the match there, guys. Loving Plants with Dual Overload. Dual Overload just gives like these generic decks, these generic like Link decks. It gives them a win condition again because, you know, I know a lot of people hated Firewall Dragon, but Firewall Dragon gave a lot of just random decks that can put monsters on the board but just didn't know what they wanted to do. Like, it gave them a win condition. And that's what I like about cards like Neofiber, Dual Overload, or just Dual Overload in general. When you get cards like Union Carrier, Smorg Link, and stuff, it just gives decks that don't have a game plan, it gives them a game plan. It gives them a win condition. And that's what I enjoy. Just if a deck has a win condition, you know, it has a you know, it can have Path of Least Resistance. It can have directions it needs to take rather than just playing a bunch of random stuff and just doing God knows what. You know what I mean? You know, when you have a set game plan, you know, you can build the deck around being consistent at that point. So that's it for there, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this match, and yeah. Round 2 and 3 will be up not too long from now, but there will be another video coming up before that, featuring Needle Fiber itself and just combos around Needle Fiber in general for many different decks. So with that being said, guys, leave a like, man. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe at your own risk, man. Hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. It helps us grow and all that good stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.